Okay, Likkutei Torah. Parshas Behaalotecha 58. Okay, we'll start with the first Maimer. Behaalotecha Menorah, it says when Aaron kindled the Menorah, it's facing the middle of the Menorah, they should light the 7 naders. In the inyan on Menorah, what's the inyan of the Menorah? Nemer B'schai, it says in the Navi Zechariah, I see that there's a golden Menorah. What is this all about, my master? Okay, this is the word of Hashem to the Zerubbabel all about the Menorah. Pirush, which means like this: the inyan of the Menorah, Dvar Hashem. It says basically the pasuk is saying that what is the Menorah? He says this is the word of Hashem. Shilmak and Neshamas Yisrael, which is the source of Neshamas. K'mayim v'ata nefachta bi. You blew into me, like it said, the Yipach b'yap of Nishmas. Yisrael nikroim b'shem Zerubbabel, and Zerubbabel was the name of a person. But the Alter Rebbe is explaining, the Medrash says that the Eden are called Zerubbabel. Why Zerubbabel? Because Zerubbabel is 2 words, Zera, Bavel, which means Rati li be'oretz. Plant, Hashem says, I'm planting the neshamas in the earth. And they were then in Golas Bavel, and because of that, the Nasi is also called Zerubbabel Hashem Zeh. And that's what it says, V'zadvar Hashem o Zerubbabel. This is the word, the Chayes of Hashem, of the Yidden in the time of Golas. That's the concept of Menorah. Ki neshama kruya ned, neshama is called a candle. Like it says, Ned Hashem nishmas Adam, u'klodos neshamas Yisrael, nika Menorah. So therefore like this, each neshama is called the candle of Hashem. So collectively, the Jews are called the Menorah of Hashem. V'yesh ba b'china zayir neders. And there's 7 candles in the Menorah, which corresponds with Zayim Adregas Ba'avedas Hashem. 7 different ways of serving Hashem. Like he says, there's 7. Why were there 7 candles on the Menorah in the Beis Hamikdash? Not Chanukah, but in the Beis Hamikdash there are 7 candles. Why are there 7 candles in the Beis Hamikdash? Because it corresponds. Each candle is called Ner Hashem. Every neshama is a candle. There's 7 different ways that Yidden serve Hashem. Like the Alter Rebbe says, Yesh Eve Mi'ava, Yesh like Mayim, Yesh Ma'ava Kirish B'yesh, some with Torah, which is the middle path, some Aidei Nitzochin, to Lenatzechel, is Gaber B'avedas Hashem, in Surmedah, some people serve Hashem with overpowering the Yetzer Hara, some is Haid, through Hadaya submission, V'chein Yesh Aved Aidei Isnasus, which is the level of Melachim. There's the 7 Midas correspond with the 7 levels of Yidden. Why did Aaron and Kain kindle not 5, 4, 3? Why 7? So it says because there's 7 different neshamas that need to be ignited.
What are the 7 midot?
What?
What are the 7 midot?
Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes, Netzach, Yesod, Malchus. Like it says, there's certain people that serve Hashem through might. Like it said, Vayig Baliba B'darach Hashem. His heart was very strong about David Melech, says, in the serving Hashem, and some people serve it about shifts. Okay, the bottom line is, what's the inyan of the Menorah? Zerubbabel, the power of Hashem that gives life to the Jews in Golus. Planted in Golus. Hashem takes the neshama, plants it into the body, which itself is Golus, and then Hashem plants it, generally speaking, to the Yidden, which especially in the time of Golus. V'nei Aaron u'madlikas haneres halalu, who kindled the Menorah? Aaron HaKohen lit the Menorah. V'shem Yishiv Arayim, he's from the 7 shepherds. Hamamshich Chayes Velukus L'Cholos Neshamas Yisrael. We learned in the other Maimorim, there's 7 shepherds and 8 anointed ones. What's the definition of a shepherd? Definition of a shepherd is he grazes the flock. He feeds them. Right? That's mamshech lahalois ava azal Hashem, to elevate the neshama, to create the strong love of Hashem, to and to ignite the flame of the torch of fire, shall have its mislahetes bekerev ish v'leivamik. Meaning like this: the neshama is ner Hashem nishmas adam. This candle can have 7 different sections to it: chesed, ava, yira, so on and so forth. What's the role of Aaron HaKohen? He was from the 7 shepherds, but every shepherd feeds the Jews differently. What did Aaron HaKohen's role as a shepherd is? To kindle the Menorah, the neshama of every single Jew. Okay?
How's he different than Meshach?
1 second. No, the Alter is going to ask what's he different than Avraham Avinu. Yuv and Behegdim. Well, so the question, what does this mean that Aaron HaKohen ignites and illuminates the neshama of every single Jew? So he says, the Alter Rebbe said, Yuv and Behegdim, Hefesh v'yisim ma'ilus b'chinas Aaron u'ma'ilus madreikis Avraham Avinu, who's called Avraham Avi. L'cheira, Aaron HaKohen we know was very much chesed. Kohen ish chesed. Avraham Avinu was chesed. L'cheira, we need to understand what's the difference between Avraham Avinu and Aaron HaKohen. Ki Avraham Avinu also says, Holach v'nosei anegba. He kept going onward, traveling, Holach mimadregas l'madrega mimata l'maylo, that he kept going from lower to higher. Ad shenidbak b'chinas hanegba, south, which is Avos Hashem, l'davka b'dveka v'chasheka v'tzimoin. Okay, so l'cheira, Avraham Avinu also had this level of igniting Yiddishkeit in the people. So what's the difference in Aveda between Aaron HaKohen and Avraham Avinu? And concerning this concept of awakening the love of Hashem, the Chachamim established. Baruch Sha'amar Tchila v'achar kach Pesuki de Zimra. First Hashem Yad Baruch Sha'amar. And then you have the Pesuki de Zimra, which awakening to understanding, even if Shabbamis can understand how to love Hashem. And then you come to the Magrei v'ahavta b'Krishma. Okay, like he says, Ki v'ahavta einot tzivui al midas avet tivi shebalev. You can't say that you should love Hashem with your hidden love. The hidden love is there anyway. You can't say it means to have the hidden love. The hidden love is there. What are you commanding him to love a hidden love? So look, what's this Aved of V'ahavta? We know the Maggid asked the famous question. V'ahavta is seemingly a commandment. There's a mitzvah Avos Hashem. So the Maggid asks, how can I command you to love? I can command you to do, not to do. Feelings, I can't command you love. I can say eat this food. You hate it, you can eat it anyway. I can't say love the food. You don't love it, you don't love it. What are you supposed to do? So the Maggid explains that that's not what Alter Rebbe is saying here though. The Maggid explains that the mitzvah is to meditate into the greatness of Hashem. And then v'ahavta means you will love. But here the Alter Rebbe is defining the word v'ahavta differently. It comes from the word ava. There's a pasuk in Chumash, Lo ava Hashem hashchisecha. Hashem doesn't want to destroy you. V'ahavta, besides meaning love, it means wanting. So what does v'ahavta mean? Peter shura fi sharat, Peter shura fi sharat and upnimis amidas. The ratzin is, so to speak, the essence of the midas. In other words, like this: willpower is not one of the 10 powers. Intellect and emotions are the 10 powers. Willpower is above it. There's no seichel midas, and above it is ratzin and tainug. Willpower dictates if I want something that will cause me to love it and to fear it. What is the, so to speak, the basis of the midas is the level of ratzin. If I want something, that will stimulate a will within the person, love of the person. Like the Alter Rebbe said, we see clearly. Ratzin dictates the midas of a person. And he says like this: something you really love, yeah? But let's say you're on a diet, and you have a very strong willpower to be on a diet, but the food in front of you is very enticing. It's very delicious. Yeah. So if a person has a strong will, he'll control the love. He won't love it because he'll love it, but he's not going to act on it. Why? Because he doesn't want it. If you're going to take your will off from it, you're not going to get pleasure from it. Willpower is a very strong, powerful. That's why where you want is where you are. The Baal Shem Tov. This is a very powerful thing. The same thing on the opposite way. There's something torturous. But if he wants it, like surgery, yeah? Surgery is very painful. If a person wants to have the surgery because he wants to get better, then he doesn't feel the pain so much. Why? Because he wants it. Willpower is stronger than the desire. And therefore, midas are dependent on the ratzon. If you want to have an ava, you need to have a will to it. You want to have yir, you need to have a will to it. What?
Not to mix different parts of chassidus, but usually chassidus says that midas are the basis of even the way you think. I'm just saying.
Yeah, there's tainug, ratzon, seichel, midas, machshava, dibur, and ma'isa. It's ishtalshalis. Ratzon causes seichel, which causes midas, which causes machshava and dibur and ma'isa. So you're saying that if you love something, you have a midah, that's why you're going to have machshava, dibur and ma'isa. Yeah, there's nothing to do with this. Here we're talking about the opposite way. From ratzon influences seichel and midas. Why does the Gemara say la'elam yomed ad b'makom shali b'reitza or chafetz? The Gemara says you should always learn in the place where you want to learn. Why? Because if I want to, that will influence my seichel to learn better.
So which one is slower?
What?
So which one is slower? It's like the kaisel and the fails. Whatever is slower has more.
What is? Willpower influences seichel. Seichel influences midas. Midas influences thought, which influences speech, which influences the action.
No, it's not always.
That's the way a human being functions.
That food that's in front of you is very powerful.
Yeah, but if you have a will that not to have it, that's even more powerful.
Sometimes ratzon is above desire, sometimes it's below desire.
No. Ratzon is willpower. It's always above it. What I want is what I feel. If somebody wants something strong enough, they'll get it. What?
What's the difference between tiny and animal?
Tainug is pleasure, and this is love. What? No, tainug is pleasure. Then you have ratzon, which is desire. Higher. Yes. Yeah, godly tainug. Exactly. No. Exactly godly tainug. No, because worldly tainug contradicts godly tainug. You can't have both. They contradict each other. You thought wrong. What can I tell you? For a change, I mean. Okay, there's a long parenthesis here. Okay, so one second. Where does this one end? It ends 4 or 5 lines down. This is what the pasuk says. What is the mitzvah v'ahavta? The mitzvah v'ahavta is you should want Hashem Elokecha rather than wanting worldly things. And that's where will comes into the... because like this, normally a person by nature loves Gashmias. That's the fact. They love Gashmias because Gashmias is enjoyable. tangible and enjoyable. But what's that mitzvah v'ahavta? Through Psukkah Dezim, the Berachas Krishma, and the meditation, the Shema Yisrael Shem Krishma Echad, when a person realizes, like we're learning Shayach V'Amunah, Ein Eid Milvadei, then why should I want junk if I can have the real stuff? The essence of Hashem.
So you're saying that it's an Abba, it's not after, it's not you're gonna love, you're gonna ratson, you're gonna desire.
It means loving and desiring to love. Something you want, you generally love it. If you don't love it, why would you want it? If you don't want it, why would you love it? Now, the Rebbe is just explaining, wanting is a very strong element. It's a very strong, powerful midah. You can't go to midah, it's not a midah, it's above midas. Ratzin affects all the seichel and midas. If a person, a lawyer, who is defending a criminal, yeah? So the guy, he knows he's wrong, yeah? Knows he's wrong. But what will he do? Because his willpower to defend the person is so strong, he'll dray a cup, he'll make everything crazy, and he'll find intellectually why it's good, why the guy is not guilty. Ratzon is a very powerful thing. So the mitzvah of Yahavta is not only loving Hashem, because Alter Rebbe says if it's to love Hashem with the Avim Mesutar, the hidden love, you have it already. It's there.
If you want it, you will do it.
Correct.
Oh,
If you want, you do it.
you should want, desire Hashem.
Correct. That's what he's saying. The mitzvah is to love. By the way, it also means to love Hashem. But the loving Hashem is, the Alter Rebbe is explaining, Av is a midah. Ratzon is even higher than midah. It's not enough only to love Hashem, you have to want Hashem, because that dictates your intellect and emotions and everything else.
So where's the him? Which is the avos.
Because Ava, that you is after. That you shouldn't want anything else, only Hashem. Like it says, I don't want with you. My heart is longing to you. So he says, so how do you come to this level of wanting and love? How does a person come to only want Hashem? And so he says, that's what the pasuk first says, Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. What is the mitzvah? There's bain and hatev, to meditate properly. The losem, I'll leave you to put onto your heart, meaning in simple English, feeling. The way Hashem is the only thing that exists in heaven and earth. Even in the spiritual worlds, physical worlds, in the Vav Ksavis, in the four directions and up and down, even though seemingly they're separated worlds that are not bottled to Hashem because it's Elam, concealment, nevertheless, they are united with Hashem, because they're takabatul to Hashem. What's the meditation of Echad? We learned many times in Halacha and Chassidus. Aleph is one Hashem, Ches is 8, which is 7 heavens and earth. Dalet are the 4 corners of the world, meaning the 4 corners of the world, up and down, it's all 6 directions, are all subjugated, batul, nullified to the Aleph, to the one Hashem.
How could meditation just seichel influence ratzon, which is higher?
No, the ratzon is there to influence the seichel. Then the more you understand it, the more you want it. The more you want it, the more you understand it. And that's it keeps going.
So it goes from up.
When you want something, you understand it better. Then when you understand it better, you see how good it is, then you want it more. And then more and more and more and more.
If you want something, you love something so much that it's not going to change your ratzon.
Huh?
When you like something so much, it's not going to change your ratzon to go get it.
Your ratzon can be changed to not want it.
So loving is higher than ratzon.
What?
You want something, you want something to happen.
My Ratzi could change that love.
But can that not change the Ratzon?
Eventually, because it's a catch, but it begins with Ratzon. You know, Emein Chachma, Ein Yira, Emein Yira, Eim Chachma. Like we said, when you have a will to learn something, it's going to make you learn better. The more you understand it, the more you're going to want it. And the more you want it, the more you're going to, it's a catch-22, but in a positive way.
How does it lower influence the higher though? How is that? I thought it's always this way, it's never that way.
It's like a circle.
When you love something,
I understand it logically, but why?
does food influence you?
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
What's higher, you or the food? Maybe you shouldn't
The
answer.
source of the food is higher.
No. You or the food, what's higher?
Yeah.
Okay, so how can food influence you? Because the source is higher, yeah, like you said. So the source of Midas is higher than Bratzi.
So the Menorah affect their second.
Huh? Why do you understand something better when you speak it rather than think it? So the whole Ranat is about Dibur is Taka Malchut, which is Taka lower, but in the source it's higher, and therefore it works.